Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Chasing the Impossible. I'm so excited, as always, to bring you a brand new story from someone that's inspired me and that I hope they'll inspire you. This gentleman is an award-winning engineer who's done so many great things. I can't wait for him to share his story. His name is Gary Noble. Gary, you there, man?
Yes, I'm here, Derek. Thanks for having me again. It's good seeing you, even though it's only virtual. But
right?
It's always great having conversations with you and stuff. I always feel so much more inspired and enlightened after our conversations.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And you've inspired me as long as we've known each other. You've done so many great things, and some of the accolades you've done. Let me just kind of lean in a little bit to say, tell me a little bit about Amy Winehouse and some of the things you've accomplished. You were an engineer/producer. What is your title?
My official title is audio engineer.
Okay.
Specifically mixing. That's my forte. That's what I'm usually called for.
Okay.
But I do everything across the board.
And some of your accolades, some records that you've mixed have been all the Amy Winehouse records, the
right.
Fugees. Tell a bit about those. Give me some of the records you've mixed.
Tony Braxton, Whitney Houston.
Wow.
Iny Kamoze, Here Comes the Hot Stepper was one of the first big records that I did. It still gets played to this day. So and I did stuff with Nas. Say again?
You got a lot of records under your belt.
Yes.
Yeah.
30 years.
30 years in this game, man?
Yeah, 30 years. I'm still going.
Wow.
They're like, what are you trying to do? Set a new record?
Wow.
I'm like, no, this is what I love. This is my passion. That's what I do. I might be weird. Maybe I'm a little off in the head, but I still feel the way that I do then now about sound and music and working with great artists. And I've been lucky that for the most part I was flying under the radar, but I was always working with really great producers, artists, songwriters, musicians, and I still love it. I still have a passion. I still look forward to going to the studio and working on great music.
Can you tell my subscribers what an actual audio engineer does? What do you do?
Okay. Besides the audio stuff, technical stuff, we're a psychologist or a father, a brother, a priest. Let's get it. It's mostly science, but it's also art and psychology involved. Like you have to be able to make the artist comfortable, working in tandem with the producer, of course, make the artist comfortable so you can get the best performance out of them. But of course, the meters, making sure the sound quality is the best. There's no noise, no hum. It's not distorting, clipping, stuff like that.
Sure.
And I have to make sure that the producer, male or female, is getting what they want.
Sure.
And the artist, male or female, is getting what they want. And then make sure the session flows smoothly. Then on the mixing, that's the recording side. On the mixing side now, I have to make sure that the sound, the overall sound and feel, the vibe of the record is what they were looking for when we started the creative process.
So, man, let's dive in and figure out, when did you discover what your impossible was, and what is your impossible? What made it happen?
I would say while I was still in high school, I started DJing when I was 15. I've always been into sound. I got into trouble when I was 5 years old for playing with my dad's stereo. He always told me, don't touch this. It's off limits.
Oh, yeah.
I was only allowed to handle the records while he was in my presence.
Of course.
At 5 years old, I knew how to put the record on the turntable. I know how to clean the records, how to clean the turntable, how to adjust the bass and the treble. Depending on what record I was hearing. But I didn't know what I was doing, but I just knew that it sounded better if I did this or it sounded better if I did that. And then around 14, 15, I got exposed to the whole hip-hop explosion in New York. And I started DJing.
Okay.
And from there, I got to the point where I was looking at, people who know me have heard this story already, but I used to be able to pick the record out of the case and look at it, and just from whether it was Atlantic, Columbia, or Sugar Hill or whoever that's on the label, I already knew how the record was going to sound, so I put it on the turntable and adjust the mixer, and because they all had their own sonic signature. So after a while, I was like, okay, why does this record sound like this?
Okay.
And why does that one sound like that? And why does the drums sound like this on this one, and the vocals sound like that? So I had a friend that lived on my block, a couple houses away, and he was into music and stuff, but he only did like part-time. You know, he produced records and had a couple artists. And I went to the studio with him one day. And that was it. I walked in, I was like, this is where I need to be.
Sure.
And I stayed there the whole night. And at the end, I was like, went up to the engineer and said, listen, I really want to learn how to be an engineer.
Sure.
And he was like, you sure you want to do this? It's a lot of work. It's really hard. It takes time, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
I was like, yeah, I want to do it. So he said to me, okay, if you're serious, go and take the MRT program, which stands for Modern Recording Technology at Institute of Audio Research. This is in the 80s.
Wow.
That was the only school that was available for that. It was a few blocks from NYU.
Sure.
I said, okay. So I went and investigated. Remember, I couldn't go online or anything. So I had to physically go to the school, get the tour, this and that, fill out that application, everything. Yeah. Then I went to school there and finished the program. And when I finished, I went back to him and said, okay, I have my certificate here. I completed it. I got my little diploma.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Let's go. And he started laughing. And I was like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
He was like, oh, nothing's wrong. I'm just surprised that you actually did it. He said 20 people have asked me, have told me, rather, that they want to be engineers. Now, out of the 20, you were the only one who went and did what I told you to do.
Wow.
So he was like, okay, come on, let's go.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
History,
But while I was doing it, a lot of friends and family members was like, you sure you want to do that? That's not really a real career and stuff. At the time, I was going to school. I was taking computer science and all that stuff. And they were like, no, you need to go get a real job and go work at a company. And I was like, okay, I like computers. I like electronics, but this is my thing. Ever since I was little, I've always been attracted to sound.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think this is my calling. I need to do this.